Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Figs Outside. So today I am on location. I am at my brother's house. Yeah, we got a little bit of a project. Shouldn't be too bad. Never had to replace one before, but it looks pretty easy. Can't be very complicated. So let me show you guys what it's all about. Oh yeah, there we go. So I don't know if y'all can see that right there. That is super plugged. That is disgusting. And it's only in this corner right here. And so you have your AC condenser. Oh my gosh, I'm totally brain farting. Intercooler, gosh dang. And then back in here is the transmission oil cooler. So that's what's leaking, and it's got a little pinhole in it right down in there. Yeah, you can see it. So the back of the, oh my gosh, once again, back of the intercooler, sorry guys, back of the intercooler is totally clean. In front of the radiator is totally clean, and that's just covered in oil. So started looking, and I have a super itty bitty tiny pinhole in the transmission oil cooler condenser. So what really sucks is that I did a little bit of research. Every now and then this happens, but with the factory OEM ones, I've got a lot of miles on this thing. I got 190,000 miles, but what really sucks is it seems like the newer ones, they have issues. They don't line up in the bolt holes directly on each side. Some people had to oblong the holes even more for the bolts, and they don't really have a warranty. And so this company is the other one. If you're not going to go with one that's got an automatic fan on it. So this company right here, let's see if we get a little light on it, is Mishimoto. Mishimoto is pretty well known. They make some pretty nice stuff. And so there it is right there. There is the picking list, the item number, and that tells you what year it's for. And so this is a 5.9 Cummins motor. So these are, I do believe, triple core, and they're 244% more capacity, which is awesome. So more oil, more cool. And it's a triple core instead of just a single hose. So got these down here, got that one, these, and then for the intercooler, before you undo these, you're gonna have to undo these clamps right here, these little ones, and I'll go over the sizes of the sockets for those. So you gotta undo this one, and then this one over here. It's right in there. So focus on it. There we go. So you undo that one, undo these bolts right here, and this whole intercooler slides off. Then back in here is the intake horn that goes back underneath there. And so you can undo this one right here, this nut right here. This whole piece will slide out. That'll give you a little more room, because what you're gonna have to do is for this, I can't really see the hoses. Sorry guys, I know it's kind of, let's see if I can zoom out a little more. There we go. So right in here, yeah, they're behind this piece. So right here are the hoses that come out of the oil cooler. It goes down, and then there's soft hoses that are right underneath this piece. And you're gonna have to cut those. And then you cut those. The new one came with barbs. We'll get into that here in just a minute. Actually, let's do that right now. Let's open the box and check it out. All right, guys, so here it is. We got it out. So there's the inlet and outlet. Comes with new hoses. Oh, dropping stuff. And then, and what's really cool with this is it's got a, oh my gosh, I want to say it's a regulator. Anyway, so when it's cold, you can pull this piece out right here. It actually slides right in there. You can pull that out when it's cold, and it allows your truck and the truck transmission oil to heat up quicker. When it's warmer and it's hot out, or that's when you put it in, excuse me, that way it keeps the oil. When it's hot out, you take it out, and it lets the oil circulate quicker, so it cools off quicker. So there's that. Yeah, I'm still having a brain fart on the name of that part. So right here it comes with hose clamps, and these are the barbed ends. So when you cut the hose that's on the factory one, it comes with these soft hoses. You'll put one one of these ends will bolt onto this. You'll use the hose clamps, and the other end, the barb piece will slide into it, and it slides into the other hose clamp on those. So that's what those are. And then I'm not sure what this is. So it looks like the Mishimoto Guide to Dodge Cummins Performance Cooling. So, and it's got this weird little penguin. It looks like it's got a little suction cup thing on. Maybe that's for your window or windshield down. But I'm probably not going to put that on there. So that's what that is. It's probably got some instructions in there as well. I'm thinking, because there was nothing else in the box, but it's pretty self-explanatory. As you can see, it's quite a bit thicker than the factory one. So anyway, let's get to this, guys. All right, guys. So that other thing, I totally brain farted, thermostat. So anyway, so for right here are the sockets you're going to need. So this one right here is an 8mm, and that's going to be for your AC condenser. That's this one right here. This top one that's going to be for the bolts to the intercooler that bolts it to the frame is a 10mm. For these down here, it is a 11mm. And for that guy that's right back there, which is the one that is actually holds the transmission oil cooler to the housing of the radiator, is a 13mm. So those are the parts. So over here, it's got a soft hose here and a soft hose back here. So what I have seen on the other videos, and I'm hoping it works out, is that they just unbolt it from here, and this kind of, you want to be careful with it because it is for your AC. You can see where I've accidentally put my knee on it before I kind of crushed it. So what you want to do is you want to be careful, and you just kind of pull it and move it out of the way, set it off to the side, and you don't have to disconnect it. Then you get into the intercooler, and this will actually completely come off. So that's not a big deal. It'll slide outside of those clamps, those rubber hose that connect it to the intake horn, or whatever, the intake tube, I guess I should say. So, because it goes down through here, comes back through here. Anyway, we're not going to get into it. So let's just focus on this. So we're going to get this front part unbolted, and we'll get the intercooler put off, and then we'll go to the next one. We'll take off this. I'm not just, I don't have my tripod with me. I was going to bring it and then just kind of do a time lapse. But if you're going to be doing this, hopefully you know how to turn a wrench. So you just take these off, those two, this one over here, and you want to be sure you get this one so it comes off of the intercooler, and then put it to the side. Okay, so this is what I got going on. So when you get ready to take these off, this is really light. So what it is, I undid those, and it started to slip a little bit, and you can hold this with one hand. And so I just held onto it while I undid this bolt with my fingers, and then it just kind of, because otherwise it's just going to fall down through there, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to bang this thing up as much as possible. So then I just kind of turn it. Like I said, it's got the soft hoses, and so now I'm taking these ones off right here. So you got 4 of those other ones, you got 2 of these, and I already got the tubes loosened up, and I got the little clamp cracked off the plastic or the rubber. So then, yep, take these off. This whole thing will slide out. There we go. This whole thing will slide out, and then we can get to the oil cooler. All right. All right, y'all. So got the intercooler off. There's the tubes. So these pretty much loosen them all the way. They slide. These are the little spring clamps. And then, so what I did is these, they're, you know, it's rubber, and it's been on there for a long time. So what I did is I just kind of used a real thick flat blade screwdriver, just kind of put it on the edge. You don't want to tear this rubber. So just kind of like put it on the edge and just kind of crack that seal, wiggle it a little bit. And then I got this side out first because there's a little bit more stuff over here. There we go. So there's a little bit more stuff over here. So what I did is I got the driver's side out, popped it out, and I tilted the whole thing up. And then you just kind of got to get it around this, watch the fins on it. So I lifted it up, and it just pulled and popped right out. So there, you guys can see the mess. I mean, that is not good. So, and once I get all this out, I'm gonna have to go to the other side and pressure wash it. But you can see it's running all the way down into there, and it's getting on the power steering cooler and all that. And you don't want that plugged up either, because that's also another vital piece of equipment to your truck, another part. So anyway, this thing is disgusting. And these are the 13 millimeter. So I got that all undone, and then you can see the hoses run underneath here. So you got to undo one of these clamps. Probably easier to undo this one. So I'm gonna undo that one. This whole piece slides out. You can kind of work around it, but it's more of a pain in the butt. So it's a lot easier if you just undo that, pull this tube out, and then you have access to these hoses in the back, because they're soft hoses, they're rubber hoses right back here. You can kind of see them right there. So those are soft hoses, and you actually have to cut those to put the new barbed fittings in there. And so you got to cut those hoses, and then you can move this thing, shove the barbed ones in there, clamp them down, and then we can go from there. All right, guys. So I just wanted to show you that real quick. Pretty messy, but it's a pretty easy job. I mean, I don't think I've even been working on this thing for not even 15 minutes. This was the worst part, getting those little hoses off. And I just kind of finagled it, and it popped right out, and it'll slide right out. So anyway, on we go. All right, guys, so I'm removing the horn, and it fishes right out through there. You can see, or the tube, and it just slides right out through here. Pretty easy. Just be careful you don't lose the clamp. Fit it around those. Boom, just like that. There it is. There we go, guys. It's got a little light on there now, so we can focus in on it. So there's the soft hose, man. You can see it was just pulling through the radiator, and man, it was just slinging it everywhere. It's all over the inside of the truck, in the engine compartment. So I mean, it's all over here. It's all over there. Same on the other side on the intake box. But anyway, so you just kind of, because it comes with, like I said, it comes with new ones. So you want to cut it right back in here, and you can use a hose cutter, or you can just use a super sharp knife or a box cutter. You just want to be sure you cut them pretty square and you don't have a bunch of jagged edges on them. So anyway, so I'm going to unbolt it. Yeah, I'm going to use those 13 millimeters, take them off. And then once it's off, because I don't really care about this anymore. So if the fins get bent, they get bent. But then need to cut those. And of course, you're going to have a little bit of fluid that comes out of there. And I'm just going to have a catch pan underneath. And then we'll get the new one all set up. Go on to the next step. I got the hoses cut. I don't know if y'all can see that. Anyway, so I got the hoses cut. I'm gonna slide the hose clamps on there, and be sure you don't forget to slide those onto those first. I already got the new barbs, so these are the barbed pieces. So they're the same on both ends. It's down here. You wanna get your hose clamp, not all the way up to the end, but you wanna get it in the middle. So you get a little bit of rubber squish at the end. And you wanna tighten them down. Then I'm gonna slide these on, and then I'm gonna shove the barbed ones in there. And then before I put the hoses, so then right after that, I'll show you guys, is I'm gonna take the new one, I'm gonna bolt it in place, and then I can adjust the length of my hose right there. And so use the hose cutters, that's them right there. So these are what hose cutters look like. These are the ratcheting ones. These are pretty awesome. They also have some that they kind of just look like a pocket knife, and you slide over there and you push on it and it cuts through them. Those are really sweet because those are meant to cut like big air hoses and all that other kind of stuff, and these type of rubber hoses. So I'm gonna get that on there. I'm gonna get the new one in there, and then we'll go on from there. Got it, put it in the slip. Remember, these just slide in, so it's easier, instead of trying to tilt it and like get it in there, it's easier just to slide in one way and then slide this end into those, and then you just pull on this tab a little bit and it'll slide in there, and then it'll line up. So you can see I only cut back about 2 inches from the hard brackets, or the hard fittings on those hoses. And so you can see it right there. And so set that up. So I cut about 2 inches back on there, and you can see what the hose is supplied. I mean, there is a lot of hose left. You can tuck it back in the headlight if you want. Kind of tuck it back up in there. And I did not install the thermostat, so I'll show you guys that real quick. So here's the thermostat, and it shows you right there. And I read that online, so about the hot and then cold and whatever. Anyway, I didn't do it. So you can see it's got quite a bit of hose. Even when I tuck it back up in there, it's still got quite a bit of hose left. So it's got roughly about 3 inches of hose left. So I'm gonna cut that off, and it's gonna be the same with this other side. Okay, so I just wanted to show you guys that. I'm gonna put the bolts in it and then I'm gonna cut those hoses. Okay, all right, y'all. Got the hoses all hooked up, kind of got them round. I left them a little long, just for in case I ever decide to put that thermostat in. It's kind of a tight fit to get in there. You can do it with an adjustable wrench. It doesn't sit in there very deeply, but just in case I ever need to actually pull this apart, put the thermostat in, because whatever. I have plenty of hose where I don't actually have to disconnect them again. I just got to undo the bolts and then slide it, and then pop it out. After, you know, take out the intercooler. It's not that big of a deal, 15 minutes maybe. So basically now it's just in reverse order. Take the intercooler and slide it back in there. And then, well, before I do that, I got to put the air tube back in there. No, slide that back on there. But it's, yeah, it's all reverse order, you know. So I'll show you what it's like when it's all done. Probably take me another 10 minutes to get it all put back together. So yeah. All right, guys, so got it all buttoned back together. Yeah, she's all put back together. So now the next step, and you got to work at these a little bit. You kind of got to, you know, shove your hand on the back, like back in here, and push forward on that tube to make it slip over this. Same with the other side. I had to climb up here, and then you reach down there, and the tube's right down there. And just once I got it onto the inlet side, got the rubber hose pretty much on there, I just grabbed it on the tube, wiggled it, and it just slid right on. So now the next step, be sure your rig's on level ground. Check your manual. So usually you get up to operating temperature, put it in neutral while it's running. Be sure you put your emergency brake on, or if your e-brake's not working, be sure you chalk up and block your vehicle on the wheels. And then check the transmission fluid, because we did lose a little bit, not a whole lot, a little bit there on the ground. And then that probably 2/3 of that was actually oil. And so just double check, make sure that your transmission fluid is good. And anyway, guys, so that should be it. I'm gonna fire my rig up and let the oil pump through, because also one thing to remember too is that just because you didn't lose a whole lot, you got to refill this thing. The oil is going to pass back through here, so that's why you got to double check it. But if we would have lost a whole lot out of there, it would have been even more. And be sure you check the specs for the proper automatic transmission fluid. You don't want to put the wrong kind in there. There's all different types. There's Dexmark, there's Ford, there's GM, there's +4, +2. So just be sure you double check your specs, make sure you have what you're supposed to have. And then, yeah, anyway, it's topped off and needs to be where it should be. So thanks for hanging out with me, guys. And I know the video is kind of long because of the beginning I was chattering on. But anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out with me. And if you could, you know, just hit that thumbs up button and subscribe right down below. Yeah, anyway, like I said, thanks for hanging out, guys, and I hope this video helps you out. And be sure, if you have any questions or whatever, you can just shoot me a message. All right, guys, thanks, and I hope you have a great day.